Assalamu alaikum dear students. Welcome to the 18th lecture on report writing skills. Dear students, in the last lecture we discussed in detail how to go for in-text citations while you are trying to create the references of your report, of your written document, of your proposal. And we discussed, dear students, why these references are required. These references are required because you are supposed to authenticate your document and whatever information you have shared with the audience, with your reader, with your listener. Dear students, after discussing the in-text citations, we are today going to discuss the last page of your report. That is, it might not be the last page, but it appears at the end of your report. That is the work cited page, in which the detailed reference of the in-text citation that you have given in your report is provided. Kindly have a look on the screen. Dear students, first we are going to just have a small overview of what was discussed in the last lecture. Here we discussed the basic in-text citation rules of MLA through MLA formatting. We are trying to learn at the moment the MLA style of referencing the information that you are quoting in your report. Here, dear students, we discussed the general guidelines. Then we discussed the in-text citations, author page style through MLA formatting, as you can see on the screen. Then, dear students, we discussed the in-text citations for print sources with known authors through MLA formatting style. After that, dear students, we discussed in-text citations for print sources with no known author, as you can see on the screen. Then, dear students, we discussed author page citation for classic and literary works with multiple editions. With examples, we have discussed it in the last lecture in detail. Then citing authors with same last names. If there are some authors who are sharing the same last names, then how would you be creating the in-text citation for those authors? We discussed that as well through MLA formatting with examples. Then, dear students, we discussed citing a work by multiple authors. There might be something written by more than one author. Then how to cite them, how to go for the in-text citation of such a work by following the MLA formatting style, MLA referencing style. With examples, we have discussed it in the last lecture. Then, dear students, citing multiple works by the same author. We discussed that as well, how to create an in-text citation for such a task, for such a work. For example, if you are referring to some essays by Mr. Russell and you have quoted from more than 10 essays of Bertrand Russell, then the writer is same and you are quoting multiple works by the same author. And how to create the in-text citation for such multiple works by the same author by following the MLA formatting style, MLA referencing style. How to create the in-text citation of multiple works by the same author through MLA referencing style. We discussed that in detail with examples in the last lecture. Then, dear students, we discussed the citing multi-volume works through MLA referencing style, then citing indirect sources, then citing non-print or sources from internet. We are talking about the in-text citation that we discussed in the last lecture, I repeat. miscellaneous non-print sources. Then, dear students, we moved on to the electronic sources, how to create the in-text citations through MLA referencing style of electronic sources. Then multiple citations. Then there we discussed the situation where citation is simply not required. Then how to create the in-text citation through MLA formatting style, MLA referencing style for quotations, short quotations, after that the longer quotations, and how to show the missed out words or the lines of the quotations or the verses that you are quoting in the text. For example, if you are missing a single word over there, let me show it to you. Here you can see on the screen, I am highlighting it for you. If you are missing some part of the quotation, you are showing it through periods over there, dots. Here again. Then if, dear students, you are missing an entire line of the poetry, if you have shared the entire words here, if you have left out deliberately one entire line words of some poem, then you are supposed to show it through a longer dotted line, almost equivalent in length to the length of the left out words, as you can see on the screen, the left out line here. Okay, now dear students, when you are giving the in-text citation of some piece of information that you are sharing with your audience, then the detailed reference of that is supposed to be provided at the end of your report. Now through MLA we are going to today discuss, and you label it as the page, you label that page as work cited, Kindly have a look. I am going to show it to you on the screen here. Can you see on the screen? There are some in-text references, in-text citations over there in your report. For the detailed references, the detailed information of those in-text citation is given on the last page at the end of your report, and it's labeled as work cited. Here, have a look on the screen. Through MLA formatting style, MLA referencing style. Kindly have a look on the screen. Okay, dear students, now we are going to discuss that what is the basic format for the work cited page through MLA formatting, MLA referencing. Okay, kindly have a look on the screen. First of all, the references on your work cited page must correspond to the in-text citations given inside your report. Then all the entries on the work cited page must appear. Remember one thing, these references always appear at the end of your report. The detailed references, the work cited page always appears at the end of your report. It should never be in the center of the report. It should never be in the beginning of the report, at the end of whatever you are writing. Then they should correspond to the in-text citations that you have given within your text. What are the basic rules? Kindly have a look. Dear students, it should be having the same 1-inch margin. Your work cited page should be having the same 1-inch margin from the left side, and the heading that should be given over there is work cited. Now the heading, the label work cited should not be italicized. and it should not be in capital letter, and it should be in the center of the page while you are following the MLA referencing style. Kindly have a look again. Here, this is how you label the works cited page through MLA referencing style. It's in the center of the page, it's not capitalized, it's not italicized, and it is not underlined. Here, works cited page. Then, dear students, all the references, all the citations should be double spaced, but you are not supposed to skip any spaces between the entries. Have a look on the screen again. Here, all these references are double spaced, but between these entries there is no left out space. The normal space between the two words that is recommended is existing. No additional space is being given, is being added between the entries, and overall the references are double spaced. Kindly have a look on the screen again. It's not a single line space between the two, these are double spaced. Yes. Overall, all the references, dear students, are 1 inch away from the left margin, but the first line of your reference, okay fine, is 1 inch away, but the second line of the same reference or the third line of the same reference would be indented 5 more spaces towards the right. Kindly have a look again on the page in order to make you understand this thing. Here, in this way you are trying to create an hanging indent. Have a look here on the screen. Blueprint 1 inch away from the left margin, but over here defends the second line of the same reference. Second line of the same reference is 5 spaces away, 5 more spaces away as compared to this first word blueprint. Here, first line, this is the second line which is 5 spaces away again. The third line, May 2009, 5 spaces again. Now here comes the second reference starting with the name Clinton, but the second line of the second reference is 5 more spaces towards the right margin, away from the left margin towards the right margin, and the third line is again 5 more spaces towards the right. That means 5 more spaces away from the left, towards the right, away from the left. Then here comes the third reference. First line of the third reference is 1 inch away from the left margin, but the second line of the third reference, again as per rule that I communicated to you through MLA formatting style, is that second and subsequent lines would be 5 more spaces away from the left margin and towards the right margin. Here York Times, this is 5 spaces away from the left margin and 5 spaces towards the right margin. Similarly, the other references, here is the first line of the fourth reference, and these are the second and the third lines of the, kindly have a look, second and the third lines of the 1, 2, 3, second and the third lines of the fourth reference, which are 5 spaces away from the left margin. Same is the situation over here. Now this reference, this one, kindly have a look. This is a single line reference, so there are no second, third and fourth lines for this reference. That is why you are not finding any 5 space away line after this reference. There is the next reference, that is the new one, and here you can see the first line is 1 inch away from the left margin, and here come the second, third and the fourth lines of this reference, which are 5 spaces away from the left margin and 5 spaces towards the right margin. Kindly have a look. Kindly have a look on the screen. You can see a hanging indent is being created. Here, have a look. A hanging indent is created. Now, dear students, let's move to other rules. Okay, dear students, when you are creating the detailed references for your in-text citations, that means we are talking about the works cited page at the end of the report. Over there, you should be mentioning the page number of the sources when needed. It's not required in the electronic sources, but in case of the books and the articles, if you are quoting some information through an article, then on the works cited page, on the detailed reference, do provide the page numbers. For example, if you are quoting, as you can see on the screen, some information beginning from page number 225 of the article and ending at page 250 of the article, then you are supposed to give those page numbers in this shape, as you can see on the screen, 225 to 50. We are discussing the general guidelines for the works cited page of the MLA formatting, MLA referencing style. Okay, let us discuss some additional rules for MLA referencing style. Your students, kindly have a look on the screen. Dear students, you should know, you should quote, you should refer to the sources from which you have gathered or collected any piece of information. Normally it's either the print source or it's either something from the web, but you can be having the additional sources. For example, it might be a film, it might be a DVD, it might be a CD-ROM, and in the detailed reference on the works cited page, you are supposed to give those sources as well. Then, dear students, yes, the URLs. While you are quoting the electronic sources, the current format of the MLA does not require the detailed URL, the path that leads to that website, that leads to that particular electronic information. But if your publisher demands it, then in that particular situation you can add those URLs, but after the entry you must be adding them with an angular beginning bracket and end them with a period. We are going to discuss it in detail afterwards. We are just at the moment discussing the general guidelines for MLA referencing style for the works cited page. Now, sometimes it happens, dear students, that you are there was some article, for example, and that article first appeared in the print form, hard form somewhere, but afterwards it was also available on some website, on some electronic database, and you retrieved it from that electronic database. Then what to do? Should you be referring to the first form, the print form, or the electronic database? Yes, you should be giving the electronic database over there and in italics, that from that particular electronic database, this particular information, this particular article was retrieved. Yes, subscription information in detail, that how did you subscribe to that particular electronic database, in this particular situation is not required. The reason being that it was first available in the print form and now it was shifted, although still it is available in the print form, but is also available in the electronic database. Kindly have a look on the screen. Let me read it out for you. If you are citing an article or publication that was originally issued in print form but that you retrieved from an online database, you should type the online database name in italics. You do not need to provide subscription information in addition to the database name. Okay, dear students, what kind of capitalization and punctuation style you should be following while you are creating the works cited detailed references through MLA referencing? Remember one thing, that you are supposed to capitalize each word in the titles of the books, in the titles of the articles, but you are not supposed to capitalize the conjunctions or the articles a and the, unless and until they are the first word of the title. Kindly have a look on the screen here in front of you. If the title's name is Gone with the Wind, Gone with the Wind, now G of the gone is capital and W of the wind is capital, but with W of the with is not capital and T of the is not capital, because with is the preposition and the is the article, and you need not to capitalize the prepositions, the articles and the conjunctions in the names of the titles unless and until the article is the first word of the title. In that case you would have to capitalize it. For example, have a look on an other example in front of you, the art of war. Now the of course is an article, but it's the first word of the title and you are supposed to capitalize it. So here we find that, kindly have a look on the screen, that the first letter T of this article the is capital, just because it was the first word of the title as well. Then, dear students, if in the works cited page, if you are quoting some larger work, for example some books, some magazines, then you are supposed to italicize them. You will not be putting them in quotation marks, you will not be underlining them. You will be simply italicizing them over there in the detailed reference. But if it is a shorter work, like if it is an article, if it is a poem, then the title of the poem, the title of that article would be given in inverted commas through, as recommended by MLA referencing style. Then, dear students, what is the procedure of listing the, kindly have a look on the screen, listing the author's names through MLA referencing styles? Dear students, the style that is followed for the, if you are having a single author, the style through MLA referencing that you would be following is that the last name would be coming first, and after it you will be, let me give you an example. If my name is, now my name is Sadia Siddiq, now I would be writing my name over there in MLA referencing detailed works cited page as Siddiq, and then after Siddiq it would be Sadia. Siddiq, comma, Sadia. Have a look on the screen, dear students, the examples are in front of you. Kenneth Burke is the name of the person, but when you would be creating the detailed reference for the works cited page through MLA referencing, you will be writing Burke, comma, Kenneth, then Levi, comma, David M, then Wallace, comma, David Foster. If a name comprises of, dear students, have a look on the screen, Dr. Martin Luther King. Now the name is comprising of 3 words. Now if you want to create the referencing style of how to quote this name on the works cited page while creating the reference through MLA referencing style, then the last name would be coming first. That means the last name over here, Dr. Martin Luther King, King would be coming first. After that you will be having the first name Martin. Here, kindly have a look. Kindly have a look, dear students. Martin Luther King. The first name is Martin. The second word of the name is Luther, and the last word is King. The last word would be coming first, that is King. Then afterward you will not be having the second last word or the middle word. That means you will not find over here Luther. You will find over here Martin. After it would be the first word and then would be the middle word Luther. For the name Martin Luther King, the style in which you will be writing it through on the works cited page of the for the detailed reference through MLA referencing is, kindly have a look, I am highlighting it on the screen, King Martin Luther. Last name, first name, and if there's a middle name, then the middle name. I repeat, last name, then first name, then the middle name. If the name comprises of 3 words, last, first, then the middle. And remember one thing, the titles like doctor, like sir, like saint, then degrees like PhD, MA, DDS, etc. are not the parts of the references. For example, for John Big Brain PhD, if there is a person John Big Brain PhD, he writes with his name PhD, then when you will be creating the reference for this name, it will only be, kindly have a look on the screen, let me highlight it for you, it will only be Big Brain John, no PhD. Similarly, it was Dr. Martin Luther King, but you could not find any word like Dr. over here while you created the reference for this name. It was simply King Martin Luther. But dear students, there are some generational suffixes. If you are finding those with the name which was not afterwards added to the name but originally is the generational part of the name, like as for example here again I will be picking up Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Now Jr. is the generational suffix that was the part of the name of Mr. Martin Luther King from the very beginning. That would be added when you will be creating the reference for this name. So that would be, kindly have a look on the screen, King Martin Luther, comma, Jr. dot, comma. I repeat again, any titles that are your academic titles, that are your educational titles, they would not be the part of the reference when you are creating a reference for the names which are having some suffixes or the titles like doctor, saint, PhD, MA, DDS. These suffixes, these titles cannot be the part of the references with the names. Yes, the generational suffixes would be added to the references created for these names through MLA referencing styles. Dear students, when you are creating the detailed reference works cited page or the reference for some author, or when you are quoting more than one work by a single author, then are you supposed to repeat the name of the author again and again and again for each of his work which you are quoting over there? Are there some simplification procedures existing? Then yes, you are having one option that you will be For example, the name of the author is in the reference Kenneth Burke, and in the reference it is Burke Kenneth. Now you are having many you are quoting more than one work, or more than 3 work, or more than 5 articles of Kenneth Burke. Then of course they would be coming in the same line, because Burke no doubt is starting with B. But how to arrange then which article should be coming in the beginning, and which article should be coming at the second place, and which article should be coming at the third place? You will be arranging them alphabetically according to the names of the articles, as per the names of the titles. The order will be decided on the basis of the alphabetical order of the titles of the articles by the same author. And after the first detailed reference by the created for the same author, you can simply go for a hyphen, 3 hyphen line for the next reference or for the next article of the same author, and skip the detailed name, as you can see on the screen. Kindly have a look. It's Burke Kenneth dot a grammar of motives and the entire details, a sample in front of you. And there was again the second article or the second essay or the second story by the same author, but over here you did not repeat the name Burke Kenneth again for the next article by the same author. Here you can see 3 hyphens in place of the author's name, and these 3 hyphens in place of the author's name show that this article, this essay being given in this line is by the same author as mentioned above. That means by Burke Kenneth. If you are creating again, dear students, the reference for an unknown author, then how would you create the reference for an unknown author? You will be alphabetically arranging that reference on the basis of the title of the work that you are creating the reference for. Have a look. There are 3 examples in front of you, and one of these 3 examples is with unknown author. The first example is Baudrillard Jean dot and the name of the essay and the entire details, a sample in front of you. The next one is Boring Postcards. Now this is not the name of the author. Boring Postcards USA, this is the title of the work that is being cited, because the author is not available. When author is not available, the title of the work will be the first thing that will be appearing in the reference. Then the next example is Burke Kenneth. The name of the author is available, then the name of the rhetoric of motives, the name of the title of the work that is being shared. Okay, dear students, now up till now we discussed the general format, general guidelines for creating the works cited page through MLA formatting. Now one by one we will be picking up the different sources and discussing the MLA referencing style for the creating the works cited page in detail with examples of each. First we start with books. Basic format, kindly have a look on the screen, is, dear students, discussing the single author example at the moment. Last name of the author, the first name of the author. After that, dear students, have a look on the screen, the title of the book, then the city of publication, then the publisher, then the year of publication, then the medium of publication. This is the general format while you are creating the detailed reference for a book. This is the general format recommended by MLA referencing style. Book with a single author, last name of the author, comma, then first name of the author, then dot. Kindly have a look on the screen, dear students, again. Last name of the author. After the last name, here it is a comma, then comes the first name of the author, and after it there is a dot. Then title of the book, and title of the book, dear students, as you can see on the screen, is in italics. As we discussed in the general guidelines, when you will be creating the reference for a larger, for some longer work, like a book, like some magazine, then you will be, the title of that book, the title of that magazine will be written in italics, will be italicized, will not be underlined, will not be put in inverted commas. So that is why the title of the book over here is being shown in italics. Then after it is a dot. Then comes the city of publication, and after you give the city of publication, dear students, there comes a colon. Remember one thing, these punctuation marks are very much the part of the format. You cannot change them on your own will when you are following some particular referencing style. Here there should be a colon. After that, dear students, the name of the publisher. First it was the city of the publisher, then the name of the publisher, then comma, then year of publication, then dot, then medium of publication, and then dot. Now let us see the detailed examples. Book with one author. In front of you, dear students, is an example. Gleek James, Gleek comma James. This is the name of the author. This is the name of the author, and this is the last name, Gleek comma James. Then after it, dear students, there is a dot. Then comes, dear students, as per the recommendation, is title of the book. Kindly have a look. This is the title of the book. Kindly have a look on the screen. Chaos and Making a New Science. Now this colon after chaos is the part of the title of the book itself. It was not put over there by the choice. So dear students, you can see that the title of the book over here is in italics. After that, dear students, a dot. Then comes the city of publication, New York. After the city of publication, there is, you can see, a punctuation mark that is called a colon, and after it the name of the publisher, Penguin, then comma, 1987 is the year of publication, then dot, then medium of publication, print. It was the book available in print form. We are sharing with each other, dear students, the examples of the books with one author, how to create the references for the books with one author when you are following the MLA referencing style. Okay, the next example, dear students, in front of you. This is Henley Patricia. The last name of the author is Henley, comma, Patricia, the first name, and then dot. Then, dear students, in front of you, the Hummingbird House. It's the title of the book. And why do I say that it's a book? Because it's the recommendation for some, it might, for some longer work, is that it will be in italics, and since this is in italics, that means it shows that it's a book. Then the Hummingbird House. After that, dear students, there is a dot. Then here comes, dear students, the city of publication. After the city of publication, there is a colon, then the name of the publisher, dear students, in front of you, then comma, I am highlighting it for you, then the year of publication, dear students, 1999, then dot, then the source, medium of publication, the medium of publication, that is print, and then dot. This is how you will be creating the detailed reference of a book with one author through MLA referencing style. Okay, dear students, if you are creating the reference for a book with more than one authors, then what to do? Dear students, kindly be cautious to understand this thing, that while you are following the MLA referencing style, while you are following the MLA referencing style, and the situation is this: you are trying to create the detailed reference for a book with more than one author, then first of all you should straight away go to the title page of the book, and you will be picking up the names of the authors in the same order as were there on the title page of the book. I'm talking about the order of the names. I'm not talking about the way it will be written over there in the reference. That means if the first name over there is A, here the first name would be of Mr. A. If there is a first name of Mr. B on the title page of the book, here in the reference as well you will be picking up Mr. I again repeat, there are three writers, say Mr. A, Mr. B and Mr. C, where on the title page of the book, and the name of Mr. A is the first one on the title page, Mr. B is the second one on the title page, and Mr. C is the third one on the title page. Then Mr. A would be the first one over here in the reference, would also be the first one over here in the reference, and Mr. B will also be the second one over here in the reference, and Mr. C over here in the reference will also be the third one. The same order of the same sequence, I mean, of the names will be followed as they are appearing on the title page of the book. But what way to write it in the reference? Let us have a look. For the first writer, dear students, you will be following the same last name then first name format. But for the subsequent writers, you will be following the first name and the last name style. Kindly have a look on this screen while you are creating the reference for a book with more than one authors. Here Gillespie Paula. Now Gillespie is the last name, comma, Paula is the first name. Then, dear students, after it you are going to put comma and then and the Neil Lerner. Now Neil is the first name of the second author and Lerner is the last name of the second author. You did not reverse the order of the names over here for the second author of the book. Through MLA referencing styles, if you are having more than one author, then only the name of the first author would be written in the reverse order. That means last name first and first name after the last name. Last name first name style will be used only for the first author of the book, whereas for the second, third and the fourth authors of the same book, you will not be following the last name first name format. You will be following the same format of the names as they are following, that is first name first and the second last name afterwards, middle and the last names afterwards. I repeat again, let me read it out for you. The first given name appears in the last name first name format. Subsequent author names appear in first name last name format. Have a look on the screen, dear students. Here we are having two authors. One author's name is Paula Gillespie and the other one is Neil Lerner. We are having two authors for the book, and while I will be creating the reference for these two authors, the name of the first author would be following the last name first name format. The name is Paula Gillespie, but over here it will be written as Gillespie Paula. Then comes the second author. Both these names are separated by a comma and through MLA referencing style. Kindly have a look on the screen. But the second author's name is not reversed. It's not following the last name first name format. It's following the first name last name format. Neil Lerner will be put as such, Neil Lerner. Then dear students, there is a dot. After that there should be the title of the book. Then yes, there is the title of the book, and it is italicized because it is a book, a larger work, longer work. The Allen and Bacon Guide to Peer Tutoring. Then dot. Then dear students, this is the city of publication, then colon, then the publisher Allen, then dot, comma, then the year of publication 2000 in front of you, then dot, then the medium of publication print, then dot. This was an example of the reference created through MLA referencing style for a book with more than one author, with two authors over here. Okay dear students, if you are having more than 3 authors, for example, then is there any shortcut that can be followed instead of writing the names of all the authors over there? In text citation, if you remember, we did discuss it. There is a small phrase, et all, that is Latin phrase basically, and it means and others. Et all, et means and all means others. So after the first name, after mentioning the name of the first author of the book, you can afterwards write et all instead of giving the names of the rest of the authors of the book. Kindly have a look on the screen. Here, dear students, in front of you. Visocki, comma, N.A. Francis, comma, et all, dot, writing new media, colon, theory and publications for expanding the teaching of composition. Here, this is italicized. That means it's the name of some longer work, might be a book. Then, after this dear students, you find here there is a dot. After it is the city of publication, then colon, the name of the publisher, then the year of publication, and then the medium of publication. That means if you're having more than 3 authors, you can have a shortcut, and that shortcut is mention the name of the first author, and after that you can replace the names of the rest of the authors by the phrase et all. That is the Latin basically term for and others. Remember one thing, dear students, kindly have a look. There is no comma after et, there is no dot after et. This is always in small letters. You cannot write it with capital E, capital T, capital A, capital L. It should always be in small letters. Et, then space, then al, all, and then a dot after al, then a dot after al. This format is a must. You should not give any variations to this format because it's not recommended, plus not allowed officially. This is the way it should be followed as such. Okay, dear students. Then the other way is, if you want to mention the names of all the writers, you can go for it. Kindly have a look on the screen. Visocki, comma, N.A. Francis, this is the first name, and following the last name first name format. As I told you, then when you will be creating the reference for more than one author, only the first author's name will be following the last name first name format, rest will be following the first name last name format. For only the first author we will be picking up the last name first and then the first name middle and the first and the middle name. But in the case of the second, third and onwards other authors, you will not be going for this reverse order of the names. Their names will be written in the normal first name last name format. Kindly have a look on the screen. Then John Donne, Johnson dot Ililia, then Cynthia L. Self, and Geoffrey Sirk. I'm having the difficulty to pronounce these names because I'm not familiar with these names. Now dear students, these are 1, then 2, kindly have a look on the screen, then 3, and then 4 authors. And here the person has not picked up to use that term et al. So when you do not pick up to use the term et al. For referring to all the authors, then this is the way you will be writing the names of the authors in the reference through MLA referencing style. But before the last name of the last author, you will be adding up and, A-N-D, and, as you can see on the screen here. The last name of the last author is over here. Before it you find an and. Dear students, kindly have a look again. This first author is following the last name for creating the reference of the first author of the book. Kindly have a look for the name of this first author, last name, first name, first name. I again repeat, last name, first name format was followed. That means Viscosi is the last name of the first author, and Annie Francis is the first and the middle name. And the actual name is Annie Francis Viscosi. Annie Francis Viscosi. And when you created the reference of the name of the first author, it got converted into Viscosi. Then the first name is Annie, and then the middle name Francis. But for the rest of the authors, kindly have a look on the screen. John Donne, Johnson, Ililia. This is the same order. The John Donne is the first name, Johnson is the second name, and hyphen Ililia is the third name. Last. Then Cynthia L. Self. Cynthia is as such the first name of the author, L is the middle abbreviation used, and the Self, it's the last name. Then Geoffrey Sirk. Geoffrey is the first name and Sirk is the last name. Just to show you that when you are creating the reference for more than one authors, you only follow the last name, first name format for the first author. Rest, first name, last name format is used for all the other authors through MLA referencing style. And your students, after this is the name of the book, and the name of the book is in italics, as was recommended that whenever you are showing some larger work, you are supposed to give the title of that work in italics. You will not be underlining it, you will not be giving it in inverted commas. Writing new media, then colon, theory and applications for expanding the teaching of composition. After that is the city of publication, dear students, login. Then there is a colon, then state up is the city of publication, comma, then year of publication, then dot, then print dot, that this is the medium of publication. Okay. Now dear students, yes, although we have discussed it in the general guidelines for MLA referencing, then what to do if you are creating the reference, if you are sharing more than one books, if you are sharing some information with your readers from one author, but you are sharing it from more than one books, from more than one articles of the same author. We have already discussed it that you are not supposed to repeat the name of the author again and again. Rather, you will be simply alphabetically arranging the reference for the same author through the keeping in mind the title of the articles by the same author or the title of the books by the same author. arranging the reference alphabetically on the basis of the title of the article by the same author, or the title of the books, or title of any other work by the same author. And after that, while you first mention the name of the author at the first place in the first reference, for the second reference being created by the second work of the same author, you will not be repeating the name of the author, simply you will be showing three hyphens in place of the name. That will show that this is the work by the same author. Kindly have a look on the screen. Here, Pampler William J. dot yes. This is Palmer, William J, then dot, the name of the work is Dickens and New Historicism, then dot, New York, St. Martin's, 1997, dot, print, dot. First here, dear students, this is the name of the author, following the last name, first name format. Have a look, I'm highlighting it for you on the screen. Name of the author, Palmer, Williams J, then afterwards dot, then the name of the book, then dot, dear students, then the city of publication, New York, then colon, then dear students, the name of the publisher, St. Martin's, then comma, then year of publication, then dot, then the medium of publication, that is print, then dot. Now dear students, if you want to share another article or another book by the same author, that is Palmer William J, then how to do it? How to create the reference for the same author again? Here, kindly have a look on the screen. There are three hyphens in the beginning, and you do not find the name of the author over here. That shows that this reference that is being created is for the same author, Palmer William J. Then afterwards is the dot, then the name of the book. After it, dear students, is the city of publication, then the name of the publisher, then the year of publication, and then the medium of publication. Kindly have a look on the screen. Have a look again, dear students. When we are creating the reference for more than one works, for more than one articles, for more than one books by the same author, then you are not repeating the name of the author again and again, simply alphabetically arranging the references on the basis of the titles of the books or articles by the same author, and then at the first reference, detailed reference, giving the name of the author and replacing at for the second, third and the fourth references the name by three hyphens, as you can see on the screen. Then how to create, dear students, there is something we call the corporate author. Who is a corporate author? Dear students, corporate author basically might be a committee, might be a commission, and might be a group of people who do not identify the individual members of on the title page. As you can see on the screen, a corporate author may include a commission, a committee, or a group that does not identify the individual members on the title page. So how to create the references for the corporate authors where the names of the individuals are not available? Then you will be directly writing the name of that particular group, as they have mentioned on the title page, the name of the committee, simply in place of the author's name. Same order, same format will be followed, only the author's name will be replaced by the corporate author's name. That would be simply in the form of the name of the committee, in the form of the name of a particular group, in the form of the name of a commission, as is appearing on the title page of that committee. Here, dear students, example is in front of you. American, this is an association. American Allergy Association, then dot, then the name of the I think this is that might be the name of the book or the name of the magazine, Allergies in Children, then dot. New York is the city of publication, after it is the publisher's name, random, then 1998 is the year of publication, and then the medium of publication. Rest, it's following the same pattern as that for creating the reference for a book through MLA referencing style, only the author's name over here is the corporate author's name, is the name of the commission, is the name of the association, and the situation is where the commission, the corporate author, that does not open up the names of the individuals. So there you will be simply picking up the name of that commission, name of that association as in place of the author's name for creating the reference in that particular situation through MLA referencing style. Here in front of you once again, book by a corporate author or organization. Okay, dear students, I'm sure that today you have must have learned a lot about how to create the references on the works cited page through MLA referencing style, and we will be talking more about it in the next lecture. Wishing you best of luck in all the good things of your life. Thank you very much. See you in the next lecture. Inshallah. Allah Hafiz.